From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hangin' With web show, it's the legend of the Traveling Tardis. Look inside and behind the scenes at some of the most enduring and beloved science fiction worlds. Step inside the doors to a world that is bigger, brighter, and beyond imagination. And now, join your host, Christian Basel, as you become a part of the legend of the Traveling Tardis.
Hello there, fellow Whovians. This is Christian Basel. I'm your host of the premiere episode, which is very exciting because on this premiere day, which is Saturday, if you're listening to us on KryptonRadio.com, this is the premiere of The Legend of the Traveling Tardis, the radio show and podcast, and we want to welcome all the Whovians out there. Thank you for joining us on our very first episode, which is going to be very exciting because tomorrow is going to be even more exciting for the Whovians, not just for the show premiering, but we also have a new Doctor. And if you are a Doctor Who fan, Whovian, and you don't know what's going on tomorrow, I can't help you. You're beyond my help at all. I just can't help you. But yes, Jodie Whittaker will be premiering as the 13th and first female Doctor. And the Whoniverse has been very excited about this. There's some out there who are a little bit skeptical about it, but we'll get into that in a minute. And just for those of you who are new to the show, my name, again, is Christian Basel. To give you a little bit of background about me, I've been a Whovian all my life since the 1970s. Half of you shut up right now. I don't want to hear any laughing. I've been a Whovian since the PBS times when Tom Baker was on Channel 24 here in Orlando, and I've been watching the show since. I just love Doctor Who for me because he was the hero that I could relate to. Everybody else had, the Transformers and G.I. Joe and Marvel and DC, and here was a hero that was simply unlike any other out there in the universe. He was the man that could simply be not with a single weapon, just with a screwdriver and possibly his electronic dog and whichever companion had at that time, take down an army, an armada, all, the biggest bad guy in the universe, including the Daleks. That's just a little bit about me, and I want to introduce you to some of my friends who are helping me bring in this pilot episode. First of all, if you're listening on us on Krypton Radio, thank you, and especially for my friend Gene Turnbow, who's on there. Gene? Yeah, there you go. How you doing?
I am here.
Excellent. If you're listening to Krypton Radio, thank you again, folks. We're very excited to be part of the Krypton Radio family. And Gene, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. You're doing a project, The Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh yeah, hi. Well, if you haven't heard my voice before, and if you're listening to this on Krypton Radio, you probably have. But yeah. I'm the station manager of Krypton Radio, the world's only full-time sci-fi geek culture radio station. And we are currently in the middle of our first transmedia project, which is Mighty Aphrodite. It's a 3D animated web series about the goddess of love herself. And it's the very first time, so far as we have been able to determine, that the goddess Aphrodite has ever been made the main character in anything.
Okay. I definitely want to check out this animation. If you are very interested, are you still taking contributions to keep the show going, or is the GoFundMe good?
The Patreon campaign is
the
Patreon campaign is definitely still open, and Krypton Radio is almost completely listener supported, which means that we live or die on whether or not we get contributions from listeners just like you. If you can afford $1 a month, you can be part of the Krypton Radio family.
Well, there you go, folks. Check it out at our flagship station, KryptonRadio.com. If you've seen me on tours at other conventions, at MegaCon Tampa Bay, SuperCon, all these other conventions that you've seen me, I've made quite a few friends. I've seen quite a few fans. I've been hosting a lot of Doctor Who panels, and I've enjoyed myself immensely out there. And I've seen a lot of friends who are cosplayers and artists and musicians. the Whovians are just a breed on their own. I know they're always the geekdoms of like Star Trek and Star Wars and all these guys, but for myself, it's always been the Whovians. They're always cool. They're always trying to cross over and up and do one on their cosplay because they just love this show immensely. And one of those people that I've been honored to come across is my favorite River song, and she's on the air right now. I want everybody to welcome Jessica Womack. Jessica, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Not bad. Where can people find your cosplay?
I have an Instagram account called... What is it called?
It's
I don't know.
Swan Song.
Song Swan.
Song Swan, okay.
Cosplay on Instagram, and that's about it.
Awesome. And I've met a ton of people throughout the conventions, and I'm going to meet a ton of people more as I continue to go out and do Doctor Who panels under the flagship of the Traveling Tardis. And how do we meet? Because I think it was one of those deals where I just grab a Whovian at one point and say, I need to get their picture. Is that how we met? I think I was a member of the convention.
Probably,
I think it was the original Megacon.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we've ran into each other quite a few times. And it was always that, oh, we got to get your picture. And then it got to the point where it was like, hey, it's you. And, yeah, and then we just always got to chatting and then became really good friends.
And that's pretty much everybody who's ever been on the convention circuit, if you're, especially around here in Florida. You'll meet them once and go, okay, and then you won't see them for a while, and then you go to another convention. Oh, there you are. Oh, I remember you. And it's kind of cool, especially when you meet them over and over and over again. And I have a ton of Whovian friends out there. They are just wonderful. I can't name them all, but I got Jessica right here to prove that I've got a wonderful friends out there that are Doctor Who fans. And speaking of fans, I can't do this show alone. I'm here with my original. It's not original. It's actually my team, my family team, my radio family team, the Hanging with the Web Show team. I got Garrett, I got Sage, I got Dina. Everybody introduce yourself. Say hi to the fans.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dina. Hello, I am Sage.
How far did you have to run to get to the microphone? We got Garrett, we got Sage, and we got Dina. If you haven't heard the show for yourself, it is one of my... it goes to the heart of me as far as podcasts are concerned. This is a show that I wanted to talk more geekdom, not just Doctor Who. And we've had quite a few celebrities gone to conventions and gone and done interviews on YouTube and on iHeartRadio for these folks. So please check them out. The Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour, the Hanging with Web Show Indie Spotlight, both on iHeartRadio and Spreaker, and also on the YouTube channel, the Hanging with Web Show.
We have so much fun.
I know. Garrett, just tell us a little bit about the show. Just a little bit.
Well, I will tell you about the show. How about that?
Oh, Sage. Okay, there
yes.
we go. Ladies out.
Of course. Yes. No, we had started the Hangin' with Web Show to highlight all of our indie artists and creators because they have so much talent and they're the backbone of a lot of our conventions and events. And they need their time to shine. And so we offer that to all of our indie artists. And then we also do talk to some more high-profile folks, and that helps to draw the attention also back onto the indies. So it's a lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of excellent people, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful time. And we have so much fun.
It is. It's wonderful out there. And also, you're also on Krypton Radio.
That we are.
There you go. Folks, our first topic, of course, is what we're going... I'm really giddy. I'm excited, not only for the premiere of this show, but there's just a lot of things going on out here. But I first wanted to start with you, Jessica. The question is, what are your predictions about Jodie? What do you think is going to happen in the next series coming up? What are your expectations there?
Well, I know what they've announced, and it really seems like they're kind of pulling a Disney with Star Wars. They're really trying to set it apart from anything and everything we've had before this point, but trying to keep that through line of the Doctor. And I know what BBC's announced and the new showrunner has announced is that they've kind of pulled away from focusing as much on the Doctor, and they really want a more balance with everyone involved with the show. So obviously that gives a Whovian like myself a little bit of nerves in regards to that. I don't think Jodie will have any issues as the Doctor, though. I think she's a fabulous actress. I think she's wonderful, but I think the key really lies in the writing, and that's where a little bit of my unrest with hopefully good. I'm hoping for amazing and please blow my mind, but so a little bit of nerves with the writing, but now, it'll be great. I hope.
I think it will be too. But Gene, I want to ask you that same question. But first, we got to pay some bills. We'll be right back, folks. Stay tuned. Stay tuned and continue to become part of the legend.
Devarius has lost everything. His parents murdered, his sister kidnapped, and the new village he called home destroyed. The Dragonia Empire is out of control, destroying anything and everything in their path, searching for the Resistance. Devarius is left with no choice but to find the Resistance, join them, and hope he can help them defeat the Dragonia Empire once and for all to bring peace to the land of Keldroga. Dragonia, Rise of the Wyverns, Dragonia Empire Volume 1.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
You're listening to Krypton Radio.
We are.
All right,
Yes,
welcome
you
back,
are.
everybody.
I hope so. Hey, folks, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis, the radio show. I'm your host, Christian Basel. With me today are the Hanging with the Web show team. I've got my lovely friend, Jessica Womack, and I've got Gene Turnbow, the CEO of Krypton Radio. Speaking of which, before we went on the break, we were looking for predictions and some things that some thoughts about Jodie. Gene, take it away, please.
Oh, well, my original take on Jodie Whittaker. Wait, I'm all on Twitter. Jodie Whittaker.
Ha ha ha! I see what you did there.
Yes. And what I did was I cleverly recovered from stumbling over my own tongue. I think that Chibnall's choice was inspired. I think she's going to be a marvelous Doctor, and I think that his willingness to sort of step away from the traditional monsters that we've been seeing, as the bad guys in the Doctor Who storylines, and do something new for a while is going to breathe new life into the franchise. I'm really looking forward to this Saturday's show.
I am too, and well, it's actually Sunday, but what I'm very Sunday, yeah, today's Saturday.
Sunday.
The weekend just kind of throws us off out there. I'm very excited for Jodie. This is a big role, and especially with the change in gender. I'm totally excited because this kind of gives a new take, a new ideology of what the character could be and what direction. I'm just really interested in what Chibnall and Whittaker are doing to move forward with Doctor Who in this respect. And like I said, I've seen some negatives out there, but I'm kind of just pushing them away. And one of the things I do when I go on conventions, especially on panels, the most recent one was Florida SuperCon. People I've talked to, when I used to ask them, I usually take a poll of the audience to say, okay, who's happy about Jodie Whittaker? A lot of hands go up. Who's a little bit on the I don't know, but I'll check it out? Some hands would go up. And then who's not excited about Jodie taking on the role? And then there would be those few that put their hands up. This last year, I asked that same question again, Same hands went up when I said who's excited about Jodie. In fact, more hands went up. And people who were kind of undecided, their hands went up with more hands. Meaning, when I asked the third question, I said, okay, who's not excited? Nobody's hands went up. And that's what I wanted to do. That's what I want to impress upon people who are still on the ropes or who are on the side with, I don't know about Jodie. At least give her a shot, give her a try, give her a chance. And if you still don't like what you see, you've done it. You've gone as far as I can expect and want you to go. This is still the most wonderful and greatest sci-fi show I think that's on TV, and that's my personal opinion because I'm biased and I love Doctor Who. But I think there's some great stuff that can come out of this. And if we give it a chance and at least see what Chibnall and Whittaker and all her companions, or what friends now, I guess, whatever term they want to use for her assistants now, I'm very excited about what is going to happen. I want to take a chance. If least anything, please give it a chance there. Sage, Dina, what do you think? What are your predictions? What do you feel that's going to be taking place next season with Doctor Who?
I happen to be very excited. I'm sort of a closet.
Why are you excited?
Well, I'm a closet Who fan. I had one season that I really loved. Of course, I have my own personal doctor, and I only watched during that. But there's been so much in the news about her. And I know that when she was auditioning, they said there was just something incredibly doctory about her, and in the way that she delivered her audition. So I am very interested to see how that bleeds in. And of course, with the teaser, it was almost a perfect transition. I actually didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was a woman, because the Doctor regenerates, and so it doesn't seem like a surprise for me since I don't follow it regularly. So I'm excited to see what comes up.
I had people that have come up recently who said that they're starting to watch Doctor Who. I'm going to throw this out to everybody who started watching Doctor Who because he became a she. And now people can start relating to him being a her now. How does everybody in this room feel about that? And I mean, is it something of an issue that people couldn't have related to the first 12 people who took on the role? Anybody want to take a crack at that?
I'm not sure that it goes beyond anything other than cultural bias, really. I mean, if you look at where Doctor Who began in 1964, it was really difficult for women to get any kind of positions of any importance, let alone being cast as the lead in anything. And I think it's just, first of all, it's a sign of the times, that we can now see people as people, and then gender second instead of the first thing you notice about their performance. When I looked at Jodie Whittaker's performance in this trailer that they released, well, first of all, the leaked footage that we all saw 6 weeks ago, the bootleg stuff, that turned out to be the trailer that they
turned out, yeah.
Yeah, it turned out to be the work print for the trailer. So we got a chance to see what she was going to be like, 6 weeks ago. And I think her performance just nails the character. It doesn't matter that the Doctor is largely asexual anyway, if you look through the various incarnations. So it kind of opens the door for different interpretations of the Doctor as one gender or the other. So,
Well, Jessica, did you have a problem relating to any of the classic, or I guess we're now the 12 Doctors in the past? And do you think, what does it mean that Jodie is taking on the role right now?
See, for me, I almost disagree with being able to not relate to the other Doctors because they're male. Mm-hmm. I think that, ultimately, when it comes down to it, they're human beings. And they have, somewhat, Time Lords, human beings, but they possess human qualities, and females are just as much human as male are. So for it to be, like I can finally relate to it because it's female, I feel like that's almost a step backwards by saying that the only way we can relate to them is if they're the same gender, because males feel the same emotions and deal with things the same way that females do. Mm-hmm. They may express it differently, but every individual human is different regardless of gender. So to say that one is more relatable due to their gender, it kind of enforces, in my opinion, sexism in a way, because it's saying, oh, the only way we can relate is if they are one of my people. With that said, I'm excited about her being female because it does show a step away towards that. It's giving an opportunity from, and this is plot versus what's happening in our world right now. Plot-wise, I don't think it's an issue that she's female. I think it's wonderful. But in our world, and with Jodie being cast, it's a step forward for feminism and for females by saying we give people the same opportunities. But from a plot standpoint, I don't think it's ever been an issue to, see certain qualities of myself in some of the doctors, and just because I'm a female.
Jean, I hear you trying to jump on in, but we got to go take a commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, folks. We got more coming when we return.
Mechcraft is a self-aware nanotechnology embedded in a person's DNA. Mechcraft is the skill of controlling the nanotech, summoning forth tools, weapons, and machines. Mechcraft is ruining Teen Jake's life. He's the first person born with nanotech, and that makes him a dangerous wildcard. Targeted by ruthless factions, Jake must race to safety. Check out the new science fiction thriller from Brian Fitzpatrick. Mechcraft has been called the ultimate thrill ride with heart. Available on Amazon, iTunes, and Audible.
From author Julie Morgan comes this epic erotic fantasy, The Concubine and Her Vampires. Olivia Martin's sole purpose as a blood demon was to be little more than a blood bag to a vampire master. Then came Jared and his 4 brothers. Now at the center of her own vampire harem, need, lust, and blood drive Olivia further into a life she never considered possible. The Concubine and Her Vampires by Julie Morgan is available now on Amazon.com.
Jean, your take on this. What did you think about when that article came out, and what's your response to it?
Well, I thought it was tremendously unprofessional of them to make a statement like that. And frankly, the fans all know who we like and who we don't like, and it's not for them to put in writing a bias in one direction or another. And that's what I think.
Sage, what do you think? When this article came out, what was your first impression? My heart sunk to the floor, and I just could not. I was like, "Are you serious?" Sage, what was your take on the article?
Well, he certainly did backtrack fast enough. But I don't know. I think it was not correct. The whole universal thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if he did misspoke, boy, that was quite a doozy, don't you think?
I don't think when it comes to print, I don't think you can misspoke, especially certainly wasn't universally loved. And I'm like, I know when he ascended to the role, there were fangirls, and you see him all do YouTube videos, and I'm like, listen, it's not about the person who's taking on the role. It is about an alien named Doctor Who. Now, the person who takes on the role takes the mantle and makes it what their own. But like I've told in the past, if you are really upset about a 55-year-old actor taking on the role and making it his own, you should see the first 7 Doctors, and a couple of them. The first man to take on the role was 55 years old William Hartnell. I think Capaldi did the best he could with what he had. I still have issue with how Stephen Moffat ran the series. Yeah, I do think that God, what's her name? I can't even say the companion's name. Jessica, help me. I don't know what's going on here.
Who are you thinking of? Jenna?
Jenna, thank you. Yes, Jenna. But Clara. Yeah, gosh, wow, I'm a Doctor Who fan. Go figure. Okay. Yeah, when I think Clara went way beyond her. I think she should have been a companion for Matt and left with Matt. In fact, I also argue that had Capaldi and Nardole, the 12th Doctor and Nardole became the companions, I think you would be talking about Capaldi's next episode, next series going on right now, because they harken back to a relationship that the two of them, I think, goes back to the Second Doctor and Jamie McCrimmon. And it was a buddy-buddy system, and you rarely saw that. And I loved the way that Nardole handled the Doctor, and it was just appropriate. Those two worked out so well. But for the BBC to just slam the door on Capaldi on the way out like that, I don't appreciate that. It's the same thing when a hater comes out and hits Jodie with a Twitter or a Facebook posting. You know, I'm just like, really? I mean, it's one of those things. If you can't say something nice, don't print it. Don't put it out there. Just keep it to yourself and move on there. Now, speaking of which, one of the things, as I mentioned, when I go on tour for panels and such, one of my topics is to bring in people who may be skeptical, maybe a little bit hesitant, because the haters are going to go away. And to tell you the truth, in my opinion, I don't think haters go away for long. They're going to complain, they're going to biatch, they're going to say their thing, and then they're going to walk off. And then I bet you some of them are actually going to take the time to go, I'll give this a shot. But I think the people, and this is where I took a little bit of offense to Jodie. And Jodie deserved this with the Twitter thing that she did, where she went out and basically started reading the tweets by haters. And I said, I think it would have been better done if she read out tweets by people who were kind of on the border. And instead of just reading them off and going, oh, rude, I would have read tweets that would have said, hey, I don't know about Jodie. Can somebody help me with this? And she would have read that off and said, hey, instead of just pushing away the fans that are like, no, I don't want to watch her, I think she should have embraced the fans who were kind of sitting on the razor's edge and brought them over and say, hey, if you have any questions, let me know, but give me a chance. And she's been doing that. She's been saying that, but I didn't think that particular video was cool. I think she should have said, hey, I want you to come in and watch me. Give me a chance. And that's what I ask all the Whovians do, especially ones that are sitting on the fence. If you give me a chance, let me do this. And if anything, if you don't like me after which, you gave me a chance. And that's all I can ask. And that's all I can ask Whovians out there. So real fast, Jessica, if you had a friend who was sitting out on the fence, what would you tell that person to bring them back?
Well, I would tell them that they are not allowed to have an opinion until they have given it a shot. That I would not want to, honestly, because it's unfair to have an opinion about that. And I've heard people say that with Peter Capaldi of like, oh, I don't want to watch him. He's old. He's not the Doctor. And I'm like, right. Okay, but have you seen him? And I feel the same way with Jodie. So I would really encourage people, please give her a shot. She's a fabulous actor. And she's ultimately playing the Doctor. And in every single interview she said, that is always what she says. She was like, I'm playing the Doctor. And if you're going in with that mentality, it's not like, oh, I'm the female Doctor. She has never said that. She has literally said, I'm going in and playing the Doctor. And, if you're not on board with that, then are you truly a fan of Doctor Who? Because the Doctor is the Doctor. So I would encourage people to not formulate an opinion until they have given it a shot. And if they are formulating an opinion prior, that they shouldn't voice it.
Gene, I'm going to give you the last word on this one. If you had a friend who was just on the border of not, going like, oh, I don't know if I should watch this, or what would you try to do to impress that friend to give him a chance, to give Jodie a chance?
I would say, just watch the trailer. What they showed her doing was her doing what she does and doing it extremely well. And if you can just look past the pretty face, you will see the Doctor. And that's what's important. She has done the character. She is the Doctor, and she's doing a yeoman's job of it, and she deserves the shot.
Yeah,
and that's it basically.
Well, folks, I wish we had more time, and I'm hoping in later episodes we might give you more time, but we have to wrap things up. And I want to thank you, not only if you're giving Jody a chance, you're giving us a chance. Hopefully you'll listen to more episodes of The Legend with the Traveling TARDIS. Check out our Facebook page. Check out the Hanging With Web team, my family over here that I geek out with all the time, Krypton Radio. And check out, Jessica, what was it? Song Swan? On Instagram.
Swan cosplay, yes.
Song Swan cosplay on Instagram. That's all the time we have there, folks. Thank you for coming. Please continue listening, and always stay tuned to be part of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.